Tammy, will you lead us tonight, please?
Yes, I will. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the
flag
flag
United
of the
States
United States of America,
to the republic
and to the for which it stands,
one nation,
one nation under God,
indivisible, and justice for all.
justice for all.
Thank you, Tammy. Tammy, will you take us through roll call, please?
Yes, I will. Those present are Mayor Shaw, Council Members Baker, Arnbrister, Kemp, McVeigh, and Johnson. Staff present is myself, Clerk Treasurer, Public Works Supervisor, City Planner, and Lieutenant Mancias. And we have a guest speaker today, Rebecca Hutchinson.
Thank you, Tammy. Council, I'll look for approval of agenda, please.
Move to approve the agenda.
Second,
There's a motion, a second to approve agenda. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Thank you, council. Look for approval of consent agenda, please.
Move approval of the consent agenda to include the March 8th, 2022 meeting minutes, revised claim voucher 7244 through 7259 in the amount of $12,772.69. The April 12th, 2022 claim vouchers 7266 through 7288 and an EFT in the amount of $35,875.12. March payroll in the amount of $35,780.06, and the March 2022 treasurer's report.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion cancel or motion passed. Thank you, council. Now I'll look for a time for public comment. I don't see anybody that's joined us. And Rebecca, you're just all you want to talk about what's on the already on the agenda for yourself. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, and nobody else has joined us. I'm checking participants. Okay, we'll go to our presentation. Rebecca Hutchison is with the Senior Services for South Sound and is going to share some information tonight. So Rebecca, we're all ears.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm Rebecca Hutchinson. I'm the Home Share Program Manager for Senior Services for South Sound. And first and foremost, I want to thank you all for allowing me to speak tonight, and Tammy, especially you for putting me on the agenda. I really appreciate that. So I want to tell you a little bit about myself before I tell you about Home Share. I worked for Senior Services for South Sound about 10 years ago in their what was then known as STARS program. Now it's known as Brighter Days. And that is a program for seniors and adults struggling with Alzheimer's and dementia. And it provides respite for their caregivers and loved ones throughout the week. It is also an amazing program, and I encourage you all to look into it more at Senior Services. From there, I went to the Lewis Mason Thurston Area Agency on Aging, and I worked in case management there for about 5 years before I left to start my family. And I'm back with Senior Services again. They hired me to get their home share program off the ground and running again. It was paused for a time due to the pandemic, and so we're just kind of getting it rolling again. I care a lot about this program. It's meaningful to me, and I'm excited to share it with you today. So I'm sure it's no secret to anyone sitting here tonight that Thurston County is in a very real housing crisis. Thurston County is considered unaffordable for first-time home buyers, and that trend's expected to continue. The average rent in Thurston County in 2018 was $1,187, and that actually exceeded the average rent in Pierce County. We see seniors all the time living on fixed incomes, mostly Social Security, which tends to be around $1,600 a month. However, I speak with seniors every day who are making much less than that on Social Security. And it leaves very little room once mortgage or rent is paid to afford other necessary costs of living. Seniors 65 and older in Thurston County make up a higher percentage than the state average by 18%, and that trend is also expected to continue as more residents in Thurston County grow older and become senior citizens. A lack of subsidized housing created very long waiting lists of low-income apartments and Section 8 vouchers, which even if obtained can be difficult to use. We're seeing lots of seniors that live alone in single-family homes. This is due to seniors who have already raised their children and are grown and left the home, and folks who have seen their spouses pass away. Homeshare is in a unique opportunity to fill those empty bedrooms at a time when we are desperate for more housing for senior citizens in Thurston County. And dollar for dollar, you can't add housing in a more cost-effective way because we're utilizing the current housing stock that's not on the market. We currently hold funding for Homeshare from the City of Olympia, the City of Lacey, the Regional Housing Council, and the City of Tumwater awarded us with some funding from their Community Development Block Grant. However, some of that funding ends this summer and we just got started. I want to talk to you about that a little bit more, but before I do, I just want to explain what Homeshare is and describe that process of it. So Homeshare is a living arrangement where a home provider offers accommodation to a home seeker in exchange for an agreed upon level of support. Now that support can be in the form of combinations of financial assistance, assistance with household tasks, transportation, or companionship. And the home provider really sets those guidelines. So we may have a home provider who says, I have a bedroom and a private bathroom to rent for $500 a month, unless the home seeker is willing to exchange services to me, such as driving me to my doctor's appointments monthly and mopping the floors weekly. And in which case I would reduce the rent to $350 a month. So those guidelines are really set by the provider and the seeker can either agree to them or choose not to. The average rent in a home share arrangement is anywhere from $500 to $600, which clearly is much more affordable than the $1,187 I discussed earlier. So it really creates a mutually beneficial living arrangement in which both parties are able to make ends meet both financially and functionally. Anyone 18 or older can apply to our program. However, since we are a senior-focused organization, our mission is to help seniors stay as independent as possible and in their homes for as long as possible. And because of this, we do require that either provider or seeker in each home share arrangement is in fact a senior. We thoroughly screen every applicant with criminal background checks, and we also check the sex offender registry and do very thorough reference checks just to ensure the safety as much as we can of both parties. The providers and seekers, every one of them that is accepted into our program is reviewed at great length by me, just to ensure compatibility of lifestyles and preferences. Really, the ultimate goal of making matches in this program is to ensure that each home share arrangement is compatible enough that there's some longevity. We certainly don't want to make matches just for them to dissolve immediately. Once I find a provider and seeker that I do believe would be a good match, then I connect the two together and I provide them with conversation guides and worksheets, and they can work through these conversations that are really imperative to the success of a home share. We would expect them to have multiple meetings and really get to know each other. And some of them even choose to do a trial live-in period. We certainly wouldn't want that to last longer than 30 days. But it's a great way to really see if they would be a good fit. If they agree that they're a good fit and they enter into a more formal home share arrangement, home share staff will periodically check in with them. And I'm going to be fully trained in professional mediation through DRS next month in May. I'm really excited about that because it allows me the opportunity to address any conflict that may arise in each home share arrangement and to really problem solve with the provider and seeker to set them up for success and try and make this arrangement last as long as possible. Now, home share is not an entirely new program. We did run for a 6-month period from September of 2019 through March 2020. We provided services to 46 clients and made 6 matches during that time. That's about an average of a match a month. And we were lucky enough to have Dolores Bluford, who was a AmeriCorps Vista volunteer, come in and write our policies and procedures and be the principal author of the Home Share Guide. Senior Services did just hire me back. I started February 1st to get the program off the ground. And coincidentally, we just hired my assistant yesterday. But we have been live. We went live and relaunched on March 7th. So we've been operating in Thurston County for a little over a month, and we have already made 1 match. So we're right on track to continue making a match per month in home share. We project that as community awareness builds and we continue to do outreach, that in our 2nd year of our pilot period, we would be making around 2 matches per month. And as the program reaches full maturity, we would project that we would plateau around 3 to 4 matches per month. I'd like you to be aware that I did submit an application for South County Community Development Block Grant funding. We're requesting just $20,000 to continue to be fully funded through our pilot period. And I would be really looking forward to assisting residents of your community. I'm hopeful that you'll allow us to continue to be an important piece of a more comprehensive housing plan for Thurston County. I do believe that you all have materials from Home Share, and I would be really happy to answer any questions tonight or any questions in the future if you'd like to reach out to me. And even if we don't receive that funding, I would love for you all to spread the word about this program. I think it's going to be really impactful to a lot of individuals in Thurston County. So thank you so much for your time tonight. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Rebecca. Council, do you have any questions for Rebecca? Okay. I appreciate your presentation.
Thank you so much. I will see myself out, but you all have a great night.
Okay.
Thanks, Rebecca.
Thanks, Tammy. Bye-bye.
Council, I see we have somebody else that's joined us. Wade, I'm not sure. We've already went through public comment, but I'm going to ask, since I don't know myself or Tammy don't know who you are. Are you here wanting to do a public comment, or are you here just to see what goes on in a council meeting?
Just seeing what's going on in the council meeting. I'm a local Rainier business owner. New
Which
to there.
business do you have?
Red, white, blue, Allstate. It's the Allstate
Oh,
agency
okay.
right across the street from the Cookie Bakery. That's my
Yeah.
agency.
Okay. So were you the one we met at the ribbon cutting?
Yes, that's
Okay,
correct.
your picture just doesn't look the same, so.
Yeah, I'm a little dirty in that picture. I was haying my hay fields and the sun was setting. So
Well,
anyways.
I apologize that I don't remember your name, because you did
That's
come up
totally
and
fine.
introduce yourself at the ribbon cutting. So
No problem.
anyway, I just glad to meet you, and we're going to move back onto the agenda. So we'll get back to staff reports. Ron Gibson, you want to go first tonight?
Yes. That would be good. I issued a written report. If there's any questions on that, as you can see, we've been fairly busy, and then they threw in a windstorm or two. Always helps. But I do have one thing to add, Mayor. I'd like to let you know that we have one side of the park restrooms in Wachowski Park operational as a unisex unit. And I think we should open it up for use. It's primarily for this weekend, especially with the Easter egg hunt. There's 3 units, no urinals, but there's 3 stools, and it's usable.
Anything else, Ron?
No, I believe that's all I have to add on here.
Any questions for Ron? Okay, thank you, Ron. Officer Mansier?
Nothing new from the sheriff's office. Yeah, I think everybody's got the stats that popped up on the agenda there. Just one thing I wanted to make sure that I think that Frank, Deputy Frawley, had let you guys know he probably will be gone out of the city for the next couple of weeks. He is doing a homicide trial from when he was a detective. So he was the lead detective on a homicide. And they believe that trial will go for probably 2 or 3 weeks. So you won't see him a little bit while he's doing that. He'll be stuck in the courtroom, but that's where he's at. And he'll be back as soon as the trial is complete.
Thank you. Any questions for Officer Mansier, counsel? Okay, thank you. Mr. Cameron, you got anything?
No, just the ordinance and the contract that are coming up on the agenda, but that took enough time, so.
Okay. Jim Gibson.
Right. This month's been pretty busy in the planning department. I got a little list I'll go through here with you. So Dollar General is under construction and moving along pretty good. We've had no complaints over that project. I know Ron's been out there a few times. I've been out there to monitor. Things are going smoothly at this time. Trotter Downs, we've taken in 14 building permits for Trotter Downs. We've issued 6. We have 8 pending. As we go through those, before we issue a permit for any one of those lots, the Thurston County has already issued their septic permit. That's always the big question of those lots getting septic approval. So we don't issue any permits without septic approval first up there. I've had 2 meetings over the last month, one with Bob Howard on his property on 133rd and Earl Beatty also on 133rd. They have development questions. They're looking to develop their property out there. So we're starting conversations with them and in giving them answers on the zoning codes that are out there. You may have noticed there's a tractor sales going on down just past the railroad overcrossing down at C&E's property at the old hardware store. If you remember, it used to be a hardware store, so that tractor sales is allowed down there. They came and asked us if that would be okay. Brim was intending to build a tractor sales place in Yelm, ran into some problems, so they came out here and set it up there at this time. I don't know if it's a temporary or permanent basis, but it's nice to have them in town supporting Rainier. Minnesota Street short plat. Mr. Gibson, Ron Gibson and I we reviewed the water plans for extension of the water on Minnesota Street. We also had the same on the Hubbard short plat, which is just as you travel up Hubbard Street, just on top of the hill to the right-hand side, there where the high power lines are at. There's 2 lot short plat up there that are working to get finalized now. There's 1 new house already constructed on there, and they're finalizing it so they can start the second one. But they have to extend the water main up to serve that. So you'll see that construction soon. We issued a approval. It's a preliminary approval for the Roar short plat. That was I believe it's 3 plexes out on Michigan Street. Michigan Street comes up to a dead end that the school buses use to enter in and out. They're on the right-hand side. So that project was quite quiet for a long time. But now they seem to be interested in getting her done now, so they're moving along with that one. And the last thing I wanted to bring up to you was I've been having a lot of inquiries lately about mini storage in town again. There's some properties for sale that people are looking at to build mini storage. I know back in 2019, and I'm just going through the files now and reading information. But in 2019, there was a discussion about either a moratorium or a change of development codes for mini storage and barkyards that I'm starting to pull out now and get familiar with, and see what that gives us for those possible developments. Any questions?
I do, excuse me. Do you have a status or an update on the illuminated pedestrian crossing that's going there by Myers and the Dollar General store? Did they ever get together and coordinate those two projects?
I think I'll leave that one. Maybe Mr. Mayor knows more about that than I do. I am not coordinating that.
Okay, thank you.
I'll answer that right now, and then we can continue with Jim. Tammy and I have got a hold of John. John's still working for us. John is supposed to be working with Paul Brewster on that, Dennis. You know, so it's been on Tammy and mine. Maybe Tammy have more of an update since I've been out for a couple of weeks, but as of when I left, we were on John to make sure that this is the time they need to get going because they're going to be doing work on that corner. Tammy, do you have anything more on that since I've been gone?
No, that is the update on that, but I will put that on my list tomorrow to talk to John about. But I emailed him when Dollar General broke ground, and that's what he told me, that he was working with Paul Brewster on it.
Hey, Tammy, if you will allow me to pass this along, I've been coordinating with the Dollar General contractor, and they're going to have to push power under the highway out there. So we did talk to them about being able to push anything we need at the same time. So I would really like to hear from John if we have any utilities that have to cross. Most of the time, those are radio type connections, so we don't have power. But if we do need it, now would be time to know with that work going on out there.
Okay.
Any other questions for Jim? Okay. I'll go. I don't have much to say. I'd like our next meeting. I would like to get back in person. I know at our next meeting, John Hinton would like to come and bring his the person that's going to replace him and introduce to all of you council, and it's easier to do it in person. And I know Mr. Cameron has been on me that we should get back meeting in person. So if there's no objections, I think our first meeting in our next meeting, which will be the first meeting in May, we'll be back in the council chambers. Are we okay with that?
Works for me.
Works for me
Okay.
too.
And then the only other thing I have, and then code enforcement officer. Last meeting, Bill had sent the information off to Tenino. Tenino's attorney has looked at it. And my understanding is we were hoping to have him in place the first of the month. Tenino wanted to wait until they got it approved at their council meeting tonight. Am I correct on that, Tam?
She left.
I know she left. She trusted me. Anyway, I'm 99% sure that's what I was told. They're approving it at their council meeting tonight. Hopefully, Tammy, code enforcement.
Sorry, I had to go get a new pen, but code enforcement is on our agenda.
No.
And as soon as we sign it, we're good to go.
Okay, so Tenino's approved it.
As far as I know, yeah. I
Okay.
think it lies in our hands.
Okay. Oh, I just need to look at my agenda a little bit. So that's going to come up in a couple of minutes. My fault, council. Okay, that's all I have. So, Maureen, do you have anything on the council report? Dennis,
I attended TRPC. The two major things that happened is the approval of the process to go forward for grants next year and for a change in organizational chart due to two upcoming retirements for two people that have been there for over 20 years each. And they've kind of determined that they need to spread some of the responsibility out. So we did a preliminary approval. They're going to go back and look at a couple of things. But other than that, things are pretty quiet. In May, TRPC is going back to in-person meetings. And that's all I have.
thank you, Dennis. Ron,
Transportation Policy Board meeting tomorrow. This will be the last meeting via Zoom for them also. Next month, they go back to live. So that's all I have.
thank you, Ron. George,
Yeah, just a reminder, the egg hunt is this Saturday, if anybody wants to come up and watch hundreds of kids go crazy for a few minutes. Also, the street dance, we're gonna have a street dance during Bluegrass. We're planning on one for that Friday evening. And also some events for the kids after the parade. And the only other thing, I don't want to talk about it tonight, but I was wondering if maybe the next meeting we could talk about Public Works part-time employee, if it's necessary or not for the city, and where we stand on that. That can be next meeting. That's all I got.
I'll answer that question right now. We opened it, we publicized an opening for summer maintenance right before I ended up having my episode occur. Tammy shared with me yesterday that we have one application right now, and we're waiting for a few more. And sounds like Tammy and I and Ron will look at those applications. I should be ready to come down there next week. So we are moving forward with that, George, and hopefully we'll have some decisions by our next council meeting.
Thank you, Bob.
Anything else, George?
No, that's it.
And Tom?
The only thing I've got is Thurston County Emergency Management. We're back to rocking and rolling. We'll be getting together next few weeks to start working on getting back into our community shelters and that type of stuff. So, and I've gone through with the fire chief at the senior center. There, we did an inspection and they've got quite a bit done on the inspection, and we got a few others that we'll be doing probably the first of the month. So probably next meeting, I'll be able to give a little better update now that we're getting back to meeting in person again at Thurston County. So that's all I got.
Thank you, Tom. Okay. Oh, Tammy, I know you're not a council member, but you're the last to give a staff report.
Okay, so just to touch on George's topic about the street dance. He had mentioned that they would like to have it on the basketball court. I know when the basketball court was new, we had a big fiasco with that being on it, but now that it's not new, is it okay if we host the street dance on the basketball court?
I'm all for it.
I'm okay with it.
I don't have a problem with that. I've long thought that that would be a great place to have a dance. I just would prefer that the band and their equipment not set up on the court.
Yeah, that's already the plan, Dennis, to keep them outside.
keep them outside the fence?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Hey, I think it's great.
Okay. And then the only other thing I wanted to get, I guess, official approval is on the street posts, I guess. They're not lamps, but they're like lamp posts along Binghamton. I had sent you guys pictures a month ago, and then we had quit discussing it until tonight. So I just need a majority vote so we can go ahead and order those.
How many are we looking at, Tammy?
8 for right now.
Good. Okay,
Sounds good. Sounds good, Tammy, to me. I'm all for it.
Somebody,
Okay.
please make- somebody.
I
need to
really
please
like
make-
them. I really like them. They look great.
Yep.
But I just, to throw in my opinion, I think we should have the arms for the hanging baskets parallel to the street and not out into the street. And so you could get 2 baskets per pole, which I think would look much nicer.
Yep.
And I would suggest that we're talking about doing 8 now, that we stagger them as they go through town with the idea that in the future, if we have more money, we can put another 8 in across from the originals, and then we'll have 16 that are next to each other all the way through town.
Good thoughts, Dennis. And I also want to throw out there, I think we need to think about expanding down to the market a little bit toward the Barkyard and toward Vets Park, and also expanding to Brogan's and Bo Turner's office a little bit and not be limited to a 2-block area there.
I
Absolutely.
agree.
I
I
agree.
all along wish that we would get it's not called the market, but the Texaco. I wish they would get involved in Christmas lighting on their Christmas lights. And, it's hard to have extension cords go across a parking lot.
Yeah.
We're
Anyway,
working on
that's just
that.
something for the future. I think right now Tammy needs to get those ordered. So somebody just make a motion so we feel good about it.
I
Make-
move that we approve the purchase of 8 metal street poles with flower hangers.
second,
There's a motion and a second to order 8 poles for hanging flowers on the sidewalks. Any further discussion?
yeah, Bob, I have one quick thing. I want to make sure we talked once before about putting the flag holders on the poles also. I just want to make sure that was included.
Or that's on the thing you're looking at, right, Tammy?
Yes, we can add them. Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about it before. I think it's a good idea to have those available.
Okay, so 8 poles with hanging plant holders and a flag holder. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passed. Thank you. Amy, you got anything else?
Nope, I've just been plugging away at the annual report. I feel pretty good about it. I feel like I could really submit it today if I wanted to, which it's not due till the end of May, so that's pretty awesome. But I still have 1 yellow flag, which you can submit it with a yellow flag, but I don't want to, so I'm gonna keep working until I can't. So so other than that, just business as usual. Everything is going good at City Hall. My staff's amazing and everything's good.
Thank you, Tammy. We'll go to new business. We got some action items here that we should be able to get through real rapidly. First one is ordinance 706. At our last meeting, we talked about removing the amending ordinance 701, which was the Saturday market vendor fee. Bill has got something written up there. It's an action item. We're looking for a motion. Bill, do you want to add anything more? Or are we just okay with the motion?
Yeah, you can use the motion that's on the agenda item sheet. All I've done is reduce the fee to 0. So there won't be any question that we're looking for a business license or anything from them, that you've decided that there's going to be a fee, period.
Okay, I move that we accept ordinance 706, amending ordinance 701.
Second,
There's a motion, a second to pass ordinance 706, which is amending ordinance 701. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Thank you, council. Our next one is, I hope all of you have had a chance to get up to Raintree Park and look at our public works. Spent a good, Cordell and Charlie, I think, spent most of a week up there, and they've really cleaned that park up. We talked about that at a previous council member. I think Ron shared it at a council meeting and I shared it. So again, if you hadn't got a chance to get up there, I'd encourage you to try to get up there, which leads into, I'll let Dennis explain what he likes to do with his council pay.
Okay, please bear in with me as I go through this yarn. Raintree Park is a fairly larger than most people realize, neighborhood park that's been neglected for years. And as the mayor said, public works guys did a tremendous job trimming trees, removing blackberry bushes, cleaning up the basketball court. With my last year's council pay, which I don't accept, I donate to the Parks Department each year. We bought a picnic table, a picnic bench, and one of those nice in-ground trash receptacles. And the public works guys also put a field faucet in there so there's water. And there's already 2 barbecue pits and a basketball goal. But it's not quite complete. And so I am proposing that we put a swing set in there. And the swing set that Tammy and I looked at is a heavy duty metal pole that will last for many, many years, and which our insurance company will be happy with because it's very safe. It would have 2 adult swings and 1 extended arm with a baby swing. But I don't want to wait until December to have the council pay money to deliver. So my proposal is that we take, because we have the money in the Parks Fund, we take the equivalent to the year's council pay out of the Parks Fund, and then I will personally donate the difference between that and the total cost, which winds up to be a little over 5,000, I think it was, Tammy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that way we can get it done now so people can be using it this summer. And I think that would be a real improvement for those folks up there. So I'm willing to write a check to the city to do that. If you guys are willing to take some money out of the Parks Fund to do the difference there.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we take the money out of the Parks Fund as Dennis suggested to be reimbursed at a later date when other monies are available from Dennis. That covered?
second,
And Bill, you're okay with all this, right?
Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem.
There's a motion and a second to accept Dennis's proposal. Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
And thank you very much, council.
thank you, Dennis.
Now it's on Tammy.
I know I'll have lots of help.
Yeah.
We got one more action item and then I'll come back to the other item, Dennis. I'm not skipping you. Our last action item is code enforcement. I spoke out of turn here a couple minutes ago. It was already through Tenino's council. It's at our council's determination. At our last meeting, Bill and I shared that we had looked at the contract and made the changes that Bill advised. Tenino has made those changes. And Bill, you want to add anything? Or again, can we just accept your action item?
I think you could just accept the action item. There were some technical problems with the contract, and it took a while to get it fixed because apparently my correspondence originally wound up in their attorney's trash. So, but it's fixed now. They accepted all our requested changes, which weren't substantive. They were more formal than anything else. Okay?
Somebody want to make a motion?
I move that we accept Bill Cameron's code enforcement contract with tonight.
Second,
A motion, a second, the code enforcement contract with the city of Tenino. Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passed. We talked about our last meeting. We know where we're going with that. Council was unanimous that we're not looking for things. We're gonna do complaint oriented. If you have any issues or any suggestions, go to Tammy with them. We've already got 2 or 3 places and he's ready to get going. He's been in bothering Tammy the last couple of days. So I'm sure we'll see him tomorrow morning and he'll probably get on a couple of these objects this week. Okay, our last item. Historical markers. I think Dennis, you maybe got an input or something from Janet Aschenbrenner.
I have not.
Can I
Okay.
speak for just a sec? Janet was going to try to be at tonight's meeting, but she texted me and said she could not make it. So I had told her earlier this week that if she couldn't make it onto the meeting, that we could set up a meeting with Dennis and her at City Hall. And she's pretty unfamiliar with Zoom, so I think that she was kind of just hoping we'd do the chit chat at City Hall. So Dennis, we can chat if you want tomorrow and see if that works for you.
Yeah, I'm all for that. I think that's great. I'd rather do it person to person.
Yeah,
You know,
And I mean-
I think it's a great thing. The council we talked about it before and the council approved it. It's just a matter of getting input from the Historical Society. So if we do markers, we say the right thing.
Right, yeah.
And Janet had caught me at the church ribbon cutting and asked me to do some work on this. And then unfortunately, I've been gone for a while. So I need to reach out to her, Tammy, and let her know why she's never heard back from me.
oh, she knows, we talked about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dennis, if you would take that, it would make me feel good.
Okay, I'd be happy to do it.
Okay,
Nice lady. I'll be glad to work with you.
okay.
Before we
That's all I
adjourn,
have. Oh, Tammy,
sorry, I'm mouthy today. Before we adjourn, I wanted to point out when we were talking about the parks, I don't know if everyone has had a chance to see, but Public Works has redone the baseball field at Gerke Park.
Oh, that looks
So,
great. Looks
It's
great.
definitely not going to be a Mariners field, but it's going to be awesome for our young kiddos. So that's a great asset to our park system for sure.
is Charlie going to have coaching on baseball there this year then?
I hope so.
Good.
Yeah,
Look forward to it.
yeah. We have benches ordered. They're, of course, like everything else, back ordered. So they're about 6 weeks out, but baseball season will probably be over before they get here, but that's all right. They'll be bright and shiny new for next season.
Yep.
So just a
Looks good.
comment, reference parks. Our swing set is made in Washington.
Awesome.
All right.
We're not getting something from out of state, so.
We're out of country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready for a motion, Bob?
I'm ready. Somebody want to make that motion?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
The motion, a second to adjourn. Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Thank you, council. Meeting officially adjourned, 7:45 PM.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you